The coding for this activity is really very short, but the concepts are a little bit more complicated. So let's start with looking at the object that we are going to move around our maze. That object is simply an oval or a shape that I have taken from the library. Right there, I've created an oval and I have called it puck. And what I'm going to do with that oval is first recognize that when you move an object around the screen, its coordinates are registered as the left edge and the top edge. And you'll notice when you look up here at position, currently the left edge of the shape is sitting at 258, and that is pixels over from the left edge. And the top position is set at 320, and that is pixels down from the top. So if I want to move my object closer to 0, 0, I'm going to put it up in this corner, and you'll see that it is 0, 0. So that XY coordinate system is very similar to what you used in the previous program activities with BASIC. So what we're going to do is learn to move this object around the screen by using its left edge and top edge. So the left position is simply referred to as puck.left, and the top position is referred to as puck.top. So I can change those numbers just like I would XY coordinates and have my object move around my screen. So there is our first concept. So now what I need to do is program each one of these timers to control a movement of my puck. So if I look at my up timer and I look at the action associated with the up timer, it's pretty straightforward. Puck.top, which is the top edge of the puck, is going to equal puck.top minus 5. So that runs, every time that code runs, it moves my puck up 5 pixels. And the other timers are programmed exactly the same. The right timer has the exact same code, except I'm dealing with puck.left equals puck.left plus 5. That moves the left edge of my image 5 spaces to the right, or 5 pixels to the right. The left timer is the exact opposite, puck.left minus 5, and the down timer is opposite to the up timer. I'm simply adding 5 to the value of puck.top. So that's going to move my puck up, down, left, and right when those timers are activated. Now I'm going to click back on the up timer, and I'm going to come over here to its behavior in the library, and its behavior is currently set to off, which means that it is not an active timer. Its period is set to 50, and like you dealt with in some of your previous activities, this time frame is measured in milliseconds. So if I put the number 1000 in there, that means this timer will execute its code every 1 second. Now currently it's set to off. If I set it to single, that means it will wait 1 second and do it once. If I set it to multiple, every second it will run this code. So for this activity, I want you to set your timer to off because we're going to use the buttons to turn the timer on, and I want you to set your period to 50. So every 50 1,000ths of a second, this will run. That means it will run approximately 20 times per second. So you need to do this code for your timer for each of your movements. You have to set up your timer to turn off initially, and then when it is set to run, the period is going to be 50. And of course, the name of this timer is up timer. So we have our object on the screen. We have our timers set to run 20 times per second, but currently turned off. And we have the code in the timer to change the position of the puck. So the last thing we need to do to make this all work is go to our image well controls. So I'm going to go to image well number 1, which is my up button. I've put the appropriate up picture in that image well. And in that image well, I have 2 different instances of programming. And the first one I have chosen mouse enter. So when I enter the area of that image, when the mouse enters the area of that image, it's going to run the following code. I'm going to change the mode of the up timer to multiple. And in order to do that, you have to follow the above syntax. uptimer.mode equals timer.mode multiple. The options I can put in here are single or off. Now, this is when the mouse comes over the image well. This will occur. How do I get to program two different actions for the same object? Well, what you would do is after you've got the first one programmed, pull down from here and you're going to add a new code item. You will choose event handler and you will pick what other option you want. So the first one I chose was mouse enter. For the next one, I will choose mouse exit. Now, since I've already done that, I'm not going to choose it again. I will let you add mouse exit, and when you add that bit of code, you're now turning the timer off. So mousing over the timer will turn it on, set its mode to multiple. Mousing away from the timer will turn its mode back to off. So uptimer.mode equals timer.mode off. And you will have to do that for each of the different image wells, and each of the different image wells controls a specific timer, which then controls the movement of the puck. So I hope that's not too confusing. I'm going to back right out again and look at my window and give you a quick summary of that. My timers are set down here to move my puck in the various direction in which they're named, and these image wells are set to turn these timers on and off. If I mouse over the up timer button, it turns on the up timer, changes the mode to multiple, has it do its thing according to the settings I have put on that, 20 times per second, and the same thing happens with each other button. Timer on, timer off, timer on, timer off, timer on, timer off, timer on, timer off. Okay, coding's pretty straightforward. There's a little bit more setup involved in this one, but once you get everything figured out, it should work for you just fine.